expansion, it will go to the further process. So this will call it as a reflow oven.
Reflow?
So reflow oven, it's like a simply because the solder, it is in a semi-solid state or liquid state. So we, in order to make a proper mechanical strength to the component and PCB, what we have to do, we have to melt the solder paste and we have to solidify. Okay, then only the soldering will happen.
Okay.
So for that purpose only this oven was there. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So when the boards actually we have placed when the board comes from here and it will go. So there is a different zones are available, sir. Zones means nothing but any heaters.
Heaters. Okay.
Heating zones.
Oh,
It's
zones.
having, yeah,
Okay.
we'll call it, we'll differentiate it like a zones. So it's having total 9 zones. So 8 zones we will call it as a heating zones. The last one is a cooling zone because to solidify the molten solder. So thing is that here the 8 actually classified again into 3 types in a operational way. One we will call it as a preheating. Another one we will call it as a soaking, and another one we will call it as a peak to reflow. So what is the purpose of preheating? Already we have discussed that there is a flux content in the solder paste, right? So the solder paste purpose is to remove the oxidation. So
Yes, sir. First one oxidation
flux.
process, and we have to remove that oxidation.
We have to remove the oxidation. Actually, whenever the flux was paste was deposited, the flux content automatically it acts starts its reaction to remove the oxidation. But the thing is that the flux can be reacted highly at the higher temperatures than the normal operating temperatures. So that's why we are maintaining first 2 zones up to 150 degrees centigrade, so that the flux can be activated fastly. So the flux can be activated fastly and it will remove the oxidation which was present on the PCB separate under components. Then there is any soaking zone. Soaking zone, why? Because there, if you have seen the components which are having a different mechanical parameters, the size, the width. Each component is different. If you have taken this component physical dimensions are different. If you have taken a passive component, these physical dimensions are different. So when you are running through this thing, the temperature absorption of the component also different. So that's why there is any soaking zone. So which means that it will maintain a constant temperature of 180 degrees up to 3 zones. So in the longer time actually all the component will reaches to 180 degrees. So finally there is a peak to reflow, which means that the temperature which should reach to the melting point of the solder paste. Okay. So
I couldn't understand the last point, sir.
Peak to reflow zone is the third thing. What it will happen, there is a temperature which is programmed where the solder paste is going to melt.
Okay. Yes,
So
sir.
if you have seen the data sheet of the solder paste, they will give you the where the solder paste is getting melted, where the flux activating point, and where it is getting solidified. So these 3 information will be given in the solder paste data sheet.
What is the use of that activating point for flux, sir?
To remove the oxidation.
Oh, where we have to.
See, that I told you, right? Flux
Actually, etching process is through lithography, like, no, sir. What is the use of flux over there, sir?
Etching, it is different, sir, totally. Etching actually will come to remove a certain layer which is
yes.
not needed. Okay, that actually will come, sir. Whatever you have told, it will come in a VLSI, which is an MEMS, to design an IC, because the thickness of this thing, it is actually because the silicon wafer, right? So it is having a layer by layer. So there actually you can define the intensity of the light, and you can remove actually how much the amount of micron meter to be removed, that can be removed. Okay, there's a complexity process.
Okay.
Here actually, since I having a metallic thing in the bottom, so I can pour some high concentrated thing, so my copper will not get damaged.
Okay,
There, every layer is important. Okay, no issue. So every layer is important here. So that's why they will go for a very fine tuning of removing layer. So here the flux is a chemical thing which removes an oxidation.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So there is a peak to reflow. What here, all now at soaking zone, all the components has reached to 180 degrees temperature. So normally the melting point of the solder, it is in 217 to 221 degrees centigrade. So this peak to reflow actually, which will be programmed to 230 degrees centigrade, so that whenever it reaches the maximum temperature, the whatever the solder particle we have, copper, silver and tin, which is started to get melted. So whenever it was melted, so throughout the pad and throughout the terminal, so the solder paste will be flown properly, and the last one it is coming, it is in a cooling zone. Here cooling, it is not meaning that a freezing temperature.
Okay, okay.
It is like just reducing the temperature to get solidify the molten salt.
Okay, so is it applicable for both single board as well as multi board, sir? Or in what criteria they will take, sir?
Sorry, sir.
Single board, multi board, we have no, sir. Multi layer board.
Multi-layer.
Yeah. Is it applicable for all the things, sir?
Sir, actually, thing is that